Hey guys, it's Daryl. It's Thursday afternoon, and I wanted to make another video about recovery and addiction. I know I have some new subscribers, and I wanted to kind of catch some people up as to my history. Um, what makes me want to make these videos too is a lot of times people. I just saw on TV that 2 million people in America suffer from opiate dependency, opiate addiction. 2 million people. Chances are then that somebody out there probably watching this has that problem, or more than likely has family members, a child, a brother, sister that has an addiction. I made a video before talking about painkillers. I was already an addict before I started taking painkillers, but people do not realize how incredibly strong oxycodone is. Like I said in another video, a lot of people don't want to hear this because it scares them, and they think just because the doctor doesn't tell them this that I'm making it up or something. Um, I've done heroin. I was doing it every day, up to 10 bags a day when my addiction, and that was just to be normal. Um, okay, I started out drinking in high school, about 14 years old. Started smoking pot in high school. I still did amazingly good in school. I never failed one class. I graduated near the top of my class. I went on to a technical school where I graduated at the top of that class. I got a job for an architect, a prestigious firm in Waterbury that did the state police barracks. I worked on the drawings for the Connecticut State Police Barracks, and I was only 20 years old at the time. But this whole time, my addiction and my drinking was getting worse. Um, as I hit 20, I've been experimenting with cocaine. Um, I still had things somewhat under control. My friends went into the army, went off to 4 year colleges. I went to a 2 year technical college and then got a job right out of it. At 20 years old, working for a big firm, wearing a tie and all that. And I kind of felt like I missed out on the partying at college. So I tended to drink a lot during that era. Let me tell you about something that happened to me when I was about 21. Um, I drank all day. I'd been at a party. I had snorted some cocaine that had been cut with something bad. To this day, I still don't know what it was, and it burned when I did it. I drank, and the next day I got sick. I went into my job, all dressed up in my tie and everything, at the architect's office, and I was feeling nauseous and hungover. And I ran into the bathroom, and I filled the toilet up with blood. I had a massive GI bleed. I left work. I told them I had to go see a doctor. I drove myself to a walk-in clinic. At that point, I didn't realize how bad things were. I figured out, cool, I'll get out of a day of work. I can go home and get some sleep and, nurse this hangover. As I got to the walk-in center, I felt sick again, and I threw up all over the parking lot. Just blood, and more blood. I ran inside, ran past the nurse. I ran into one of the rooms, and I filled the sink up with blood. And I remember looking at my face in the mirror. Like I said, I was 21 years old at this point, and it was all white, and it was blue under my eyes, and I'll never forget the feeling. I was dying. I had, like I said, massive internal bleeding. Um, I'll never forget that feeling. It almost felt good. This isn't part of the video, but it felt like I was going home. It felt like if I wanted to let go right then, I could have. Uh, but I got this fighting. I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to die because of alcohol. I got a fighting attitude. The ambulance came and picked me up there at the walk-in center. I spent 3, 4 days in a ICU with tubes all going down, intubating me and everything. And it stopped bleeding, and I lived. In the hospital bed, my family came in crying. I was all hooked up to machines and everything. And I was like, I swear I'll never drink. I'll never drink again. 2 weeks later, I was drinking again. I never found out what the cocaine was cut with. The theory is, excuse me, the theory is that it was cut with something that corroded between the getting nauseous and the cut cocaine that it opened up an artery somewhere, or yeah, an artery, because the blood was pure, very bright red somewhere in my esophagus. So I almost died. About as close as you can get that day, and still kept drinking. I went on to use cocaine. I went through a period where I would go down to New York City, to the Bronx, which is only about an hour, hour and a half, not even an hour and 15 minutes from here. And I would purchase cocaine down there and bring it up here, and I would deal it. And I'm to this day I'm very ashamed of that. I thought I was, I was playing the role back then. I thought I was a big man, and I was an idiot. I was an idiot. I was lying to myself. Anyway, I started, I made money for a while. I started using my product, as we know, you can't do. And then I started smoking it. And then came the crack. And for those of you that aren't familiar with crack, it's a very dangerous drug. You inhale it. It's pure cocaine, basically. It's the base form. It takes out all the cut, so it's almost like 99% pure, smokable cocaine, very pure. And when you inhale it, as soon as you let that breath out, it's incredibly hard hitting high, just a euphoric high that I've never felt before. Straight up, where everything is great, everything in the world is fantastic. But it only lasts for not even 5 minutes. And here's the thing with this drug. Now I know how it affects me physiologically, and it shoots off all your endorphins, all your adrenaline. So the first high is you go straight up and you come down. But as you keep using it, your body starts running out of the endorphins, and you don't go up as high, but you go down further. After a couple hours, you're feeling miserable. You're taking these hits just to almost feel somewhat normal, and the paranoia starts, and at that point you feel so miserable that you would do anything, sell anything to get more. And it's such a crazy, like I said, if there is a Satan, this is something he invented, because it is a terrible terrible drug. It just makes you want more and more, and the more you do, the worse you feel, and the more you want. That's basically it, summing it up. Anyway, to move on, around the time, and I lost a great job. I lost a couple of great jobs due to urine tests, using cocaine. Great jobs. I had a great union truck driving job, making really good money, driving for like the New York Times, delivering newspapers down to New York City, around here, the Westchester County. Great job. And I got a urine test one day, and I knew that could happen. And I lost my job like that. Lost another job right after that, and this isn't even near bottom. Bottom was still yet to come. About 38 years old, my back. I was delivering big, huge rolls of linoleum flooring, and bundles all day. I was delivering bundles of wood, hardwood flooring, and it blew out my back. It didn't just blow out my back; it ruptured a disc. And the piece actually moved down my spine and wedged against my nerves. And I got what they call drop foot, where my leg wasn't working anymore. It was necessitated immediate operation. The pain made you want to die. The pain was, I've never felt pain like that in my life. It was every second of every minute of every day, and I couldn't walk, and it was the most horrendous pain, from mid back all the way down to my leg, that I can't even describe. The doctor prescribed me 3 different drugs all at once: extra strength Percocets, instant release Oxycontins, 5 milligrams, and 30 milligram Oxycontins. The pharmacist was so startled by seeing this, he had to call and check with the doctor, because this was a large amount of narcotics for one person. But my doctor said, yeah, he needs it. So eventually, opiates weren't my drug of choice, but after that, after a while, and then I would start taking the coating off the Oxycontin and snorting it. And it's, looking back, it's extremely dangerous because like a 30 or 40 milligram Oxycontin, when you strip it down like that, it's supposed to release over a long period of time. When you strip it down like that, what you're basically doing is taking like 10 Percocets all at once. That's kind of what it's equal to. It's enough to kill you. So I quickly got addicted to that. The doctor prescribed me Vicodin for 2 years, 20 pills, extra strength, every week, week after week for 2 years. And I'm not blaming the doctor. You know, I demanded it. After that, I not only had a coke and crack addiction and alcohol, but now I was addicted to opiates on top of everything else. And there's some cities around here, and I found my way to the cities. I already knew how to buy crack in the cities, the signals, how to buy on the street. It didn't take long before I had a couple heroin dealers. I never injected heroin. I never used it intravenously. I snorted it, but there's no difference. It affects your body a little slower, but you stay sick longer. It's just as bad. You get just as addicted. It's just how quick it hits you and how long it stays in your system varies. But it's, in some ways, it's worse because when you inject it intravenously, it leaves your system quicker and the sickness goes away quicker. So my life was miserable at that point. I wanted to die. I prayed to die every night. I had a couple suicide attempts. I was in and out of detoxes and rehabs about every couple months. I would run out of money. I'd owe people. I'd get sick. I would go into a detox, a rehab. I'd have the best intentions, but as soon as I hit the street, within 2 hours, I'd have drugs again. I felt hopeless. I wanted to die. I prayed to die. And like I told you guys before, the one thing finally at the end, when I was at the end of my rope, I tried something called Suboxone. It's medically assisted treatment. It doesn't get you high, but it blocks the receptors, so heroin doesn't work. You can snort it and it won't affect you, and it prevents you from getting sick. So it gives you a period to kind of get on your feet, which is exactly what I did. And I had a moment of clarity, and I was like, holy shit, I almost feel normal. I forgot what normal felt like. After about a month of this treatment, I started to feel normal. Now, mind you, I still had the coke and crack addiction, which I had to stop. Otherwise, if I didn't stop those two, I had to do that all on my own. Suboxone does not help with coke or crack or any of that. And they told me if I didn't stop those drugs, they would cut off the Suboxone, and I'd basically end up killing myself, suicide. So after a couple of relapses, I finally kicked coke, kicked the crack all by myself, alcohol, pot, everything. And then that's the story. Once I started feeling good, I started working out. I put on some weight initially, and I got so energized by realizing what I did, how I got clean, that I started working on my body. Lost 90 pounds. I started working on art. I started selling my art. Life has been good, man. I'm truly blessed. I'm happy. I've been given a second chance in life. I really feel that now the whole reason I'm here, the whole reason that I've been given a second chance is to help other people, to let other people know that there is hope, especially for the parents. My family that I put through hell. I feel like it's my mission, my reason to be here, to help those people, to let them know that you can do this. There is hope for your family, for you, for people with drug addiction. I'll continue this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm running low on time on memory, and I'm coming up on 15 minutes. So I'm going to continue this on my next video. All right. So you guys have a good day. Stay clean and sober.